Hi, Brian with the Downpour Fellowship. And on Friday, Jesus was killed by trained Roman soldiers who crucify men for a living. They concluded that Jesus was dead because when they went to break the legs of those on the cross to speed up the process since the Sabbath day was coming, when they got to Jesus, they realized he was dead and they didn't break his legs. But just to make sure he was dead, they rammed a spear up into his chest cavity just to see if there was a response. Where there was no response and only blood and water poured out. So the bodies were all taken down. Jesus' body was taken down, and actually Pilate allowed Joseph of Arimathea to take the body to give Jesus a proper burial. And, Pilate would only done that if Jesus was truly dead. And so Joseph goes to bury Jesus. And, since you don't bury alive people, there's another proof showing that Jesus was dead. And so Jesus was placed in that tomb. A large stone was rolled in front of the mouth. And then actually Saturday, soldiers were placed to guard the tomb because Jesus had claimed that he was going to resurrect in 3 days. Well, no one believed that, but they thought maybe that Jesus' disciples might steal the body and make it appear that he rose from the grave. So they had these guards placed there to guard it. So Jesus laid in that tomb until Sunday morning. And then when Sunday morning rolls around, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, came early to anoint Jesus' body. And when they arrived, there was an earthquake because an angel had descended from heaven and rolled that large stone out of the way from the mouth of the tomb. And this is where Jesus resurrected from the grave. And when the guards seen this angel come down and the earthquake happen, they were so afraid, they shook with fear, and they just collapsed as dead men, just out of fear. And the angel announces to both Marys that Jesus, who you seek, is no longer dead. He has risen from the grave. He is alive. The women were told to go to tell the disciples what they've seen. This good news that has just been announced. And as both Marys go to tell the disciples, Jesus actually meets them on their way there to show them that he was no longer dead. He is alive. So this is the good news of Easter. Though Jesus went through this horrible death, he is arisen. He is alive. So remember, Passover there on Friday was an Israel feast day. They were instructed annually to memorialize this feast of reminding of how God intervened and basically allowed a plague to come in to take out the firstborn sons of the Egyptians. And that was the final breaking point where the Pharaoh allowed Israel to leave. They were actually delivered from their bondage that they had under Egypt because of what God did there. So the Passover, each head of house was to slaughter a year-old lamb, a male lamb, without defect, to feed their family as a memorial of Israel's deliverance. And, that Friday, that Passover, the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ, came and offered himself as the perfect, unblemished lamb that shed his own precious blood to deliver all of mankind from their bondage. So, Jesus' own blood was offered once and for all. He is our great high priest. So this is the good news of Easter. Jesus rose from the grave. He is now alive. Our great high priest, whereas normal high priests had continually offer offerings to cover the sins, this great high priest did a once and for all sacrifice with his own blood, so we could be delivered from our bondage of sin. So Jesus' precious blood covers our sins, past, present, and future. And this gift that he offers is freely offered to those who believe in Jesus' finished work on the cross. What he did there on the cross by shedding his blood as being that Passover lamb for us to deliver us from our bondage. So, this is the good news. Tell others that Jesus has risen from the grave. He is now alive. Thanks for watching.